7:42. Welcome back to Acadiana's Morning News, and we have reached the time of the week for our Tuesday talker.
Indeed.
The current talker, Chad Romero. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How's it going today?
You know, we have had a couple good weeks talking about budgeting to start with, retirement last week, and now something that is coming up as people are living longer, and a lot of kids are taking care of their parents, maybe another loved one. Bernie's in that situation right now. Long-term care, a huge topic in the retirement planning world.
Very big, huge topic right now.
So what is
it, and why is it so important?
So long-term care is basically what we call custodial care. It helps you with your basic daily living activities, bathing, eating, going to the restroom, those types of things. It is not any type of medical care. It is basically custodial care to help you do your normal daily activities. And obviously, any cognitive impairment is a huge one. Dementia, those types of things, when people need kind of round-the-clock assistance.
You know, Bernie and I hosted this past weekend, the Alzheimer's Association right here in Acadiana, really active. And one of the biggest things that I've seen, I don't know about you, but the biggest thing I've seen is how much care just goes into it.
Yep.
Look, there was a walk happening. Well, some of their loved ones who had Alzheimer's or dementia diagnosis, they can't necessarily walk a walk. So there was a tent that was set up, literally just with caretakers.
Right.
And all it is just to be there. Just like you said, no medical care, just to be there.
Just to be there for
to
the
make sure
everyday
they don't hurt
stuff.
themselves or don't get lost or anything like that.
And think about the stats on this, everybody. This is what they told us this weekend, that 85,000 people in Louisiana are living with this. But the amount of caretakers, so 85,000 people. But the caretaker amount is 232,000. So almost 3 times as many people need to take care of one person when you kind of do the math. And it's important. Now, what do people do if they don't have that through their company? Where do you get long-term care? How do you go about that?
So that's where we usually start. So there's basically 4 options. Number one, you can pay for it out of your pocket, right? You can hire a home health agency, go in a nursing home, pay for it out of your own pocket. Obviously, family is an option. It's truly staggering the number of family members today, even young family members in their 40s and 50s who have experience already of spending the night with grandma, of taking care of dad, of doing those things. Yeah. And it's a very difficult role. So the family member, the other one is obviously long-term care insurance, which is kind of the topic today, if you will. And then Medicaid. That's the big one, not Medicare. Medicaid. This is where we could do a whole segment on just that, and we may, but today we're going to kind of focus on the long-term care insurance, if you will.
So how much does this cost? I mean, I wouldn't even imagine if you said, okay, Rob, you need to be prepared. I would have no idea where to even start on how much it costs.
I agree.
So the typical nursing home, that's kind of where we start when we look at these benefits. Your advisor will be able to tell you your average, what it costs in your area, whatever specific area you live in. Yeah. But typically in Louisiana, the average is about $185 a day for a nursing home, which comes out to $5,500 to $6,000 a month. And that's that is after tax dollars. They don't, you got to pay $6,000. That's mostly, retirement living expenses for most people. Yeah. If you want assisted living, you're looking at $3,500 to $4,000 a month, a little bit lower level of care. Right. And then in-home care is about $20 an hour. So depending on the severity. And
depending on when you need, because you might just need someone for 4 hours a day.
Right. And that's great. That's great.
Okay. So, we hear about long-term care insurance, and I think with any kind of insurance product, you think about the cost, and you hear about cost going up, and you hear about different things. Is it that much more expensive, or is it something that's worth having in case you need it?
Long-term care right now, that's the biggest complaint for advisors, from the public to the advisory community, is that this stuff is so expensive. There are a few factors that help the pricing of long-term care insurance. Number one, you have got to start discussing this with your advisor in your 40s and 50s. Yep. This is no longer a 60s and 70s discussion, because when we get to that age, that's when you need it. And it's going to be that much more insurance. So age is the number one factor. And look, 70% of people turning age 65 today will need some form of long-term care. 70%.
I mean, think about the numbers on that. That means you are probably 7 out of every 10 people. You're going to be in that group probably.
Yeah.
That's the reason for the pricing. I mean, our actuaries, every company's actuaries know that the high probability, the older you get, it's really staggering numbers
and
right
if
now.
you're a single person without children, you really need to listen to what Chad is saying, because you really need to think about your future. Will your family, your extended family, be in a financial position? Will they financially be able to take care of you? They may love you, and they may love you to pieces, but can they financially bring you into their home and or pay for your nursing care? That's just one side of it. And even if you have children, will your children be in the financial, will they be in that category to be able to help you?
Right.
Let's talk about Medicaid, because we might have some people listening that say, well, I wouldn't qualify for Medicaid because I make too much or I have too much money.
So, number one, Medicaid, talk to your advisor. Number one, contact your personal advisor. Talk to him about kind of what's a good fit for you. Everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
Additionally, seek legal advice. These guys are going to be able to tell you the real rules. The attorneys are the people that say the real rules. But from a scratch the surface standpoint, the basic rule of thumb is Medicaid is the last line of defense. This is for low income, impoverished, and look, it serves I'm not discriminating by any means, but it serves a purpose. But know that you will have to spend down for an individual, you will have to spend down
every dollar you have,
everything to $2,000. Now, the biggest misconception we get is, well, I get to keep the house, right? That's the biggest one. That is not true. That is not necessarily true, because Medicaid is going to try to recapture after the spouse dies, after the last person dies with that property left in the estate. Medicaid is going to try to recapture the value of that to get their money back. This is a broke system. Not like broken, but they don't have any money. And it's a joint federal and state funded thing. And it is like the last resort.
Yeah.
You know?
So basically from their point of view is, hey, as long as that house still exists, well, you could always sell your house and pay for your medical expenses.
So there's another catch. There's a 5-year look back period. So if person A has $200,000 and they give it to their kid and they have a long-term care event within 2 years, the state is going to look back 5 years, or the government or whoever, they're going to look back 5 years and say, nope, we're going to recapture those assets and you don't qualify until you spend this much.
So is it that you almost are not even, there's almost no benefit for owning a house then? What if you just didn't have one? You're a renter.
So most people don't qualify for Medicaid. Know that.
Yeah,
so you've got to do the proper planning and estate planning.
That's right.
Look, long-term care insurance is what
it's
helps
almost
you.
like get rid of it all.
It is.
I know I know you don't want to hear that, but I'm saying it's a terrible system.
It's a horrible.
If that's what you have to do.
Look, so remember, it is talk to your advisor. The society, 401ks, all these entitlement programs, they're in full retreat right now. If there's any advice I can give, it's know that you've got to do this on your own to the best of your ability. That's it. 60s, 70s, talk to your advisor about long-term care. It's all proportionate. Maybe you can't spend $500 a month, but maybe you can spend $100 a month. And you have a little nest egg, and it'll help protect some of that nest egg.
Yeah. Wow. What an eye-opening
big eye-opener
topic. I mean, because I think we hear about it, we see about it, we see the rates of Alzheimer's, we see the rates of dementia. And you know what? Maybe that is why we are seeing so many family members take in that person, just because, guess what? I'll take care of you for less than that cost.
Right. Yeah, look, we're strategically placing parents. Yeah. We're strategically moving across the country as individuals to possibly take care of mom one day. I mean, I can say that as a consumer. My mom lives 2 houses down from me now. You know why? If something ever happens to her, she will be right there, and we can take care of her.
Wow, huge topic.
It's a whole big thing to think about, and you really do, as Chad said, speak to your financial advisor. It's an eye-opening experience for you at 7:52 in the morning on a Tuesday. But hey,
sorry, guys.
No, you really need to think about it.
You need to be thinking about it now.
And we'll give you another stat, because Rob and I had the opportunity about 2 months ago to speak to a doctor who is working in research on Alzheimer's. And he said the number one fastest growing category for people being diagnosed with Alzheimer's? Women between 50 and 55 years of age. That's the number one growing category for new Alzheimer diagnosis.
And you know who lives the longest? You know whose long-term care costs are the most expensive? It's not men. They die.
Mm-hmm.
Women just will not die. And they live forever.
Hard-headed.
We're just afraid. We're afraid we still need to torture you men.
That's right.
Chad, great information as always.
Thank
We
you.
will
Thanks for
give it
having
up
me.
as we have every week. At kpel965.com. Long-term care insurance.
I'm very much alert, more alert than I was when he first walked in the building because I'm thinking,
yep.
I got to get this done.
Ask your advisor. All right, it's 7:52 now at News Talk 96.5 KPEL.